Iain from RTO here. And the weather still hasn't improved from when I did my little live bit for the live stream tomorrow. It is still raining. Cats and dogs. And it's still dark, so all the lights are on. Can't believe it. It's in the morning and we're in the dark. Anyway, I've got something to brighten up and blast out the cobwebs today on the marathon. We're going to have a look at the German power metal band Helloween. First real power speed metal band I really got into. Up until then, until what, the 80s, 83, 4, I weren't really into it. I really didn't get into Metallica until after I got into these. I sort of got into these and went back, and yeah, I'm a big fan of this band. They are probably my favourite power metal band. They were founded in Germany, in Hamburg, by members of a band called Iron Fist and Gentry, Second Hell, and Powerful. The first lineup consisted of Kai Hansen, a bassist Markus Grosskopf, guitarist Michael Wecketh, I can never pronounce his name so I do apologise, and Indigo Schwitzenberg. They've had various people in the band, and then of course they united. Everyone that had been in the band got together and made an album, and the rest is history. So they've released 16 albums and 1 EP, and I have included the EP because it's pretty cool. So coming in at number 17 then, we have the 5th album, released in 1993, and it was their last album that featured Michael Kiske until 2021, and the last with their original drummer Indigo Schwitzenberg, who sadly died in very sad circumstances, and this was the last album during his lifetime. The album is called Chameleon. So on here we've got Michael Kiske, Michael Wecketh or Wecketh, Roland Grappel, Markus Grosskopf, and Indigo Schwitzenberg. First track on here is called First Time. I love the exploding guitar, drums, crash bang wallop at the beginning, and then the rest of the track is pretty weak. I'm not very keen on that one. When the Sinner, now we're starting to creep in with some electronics on here, and you go, no, stop it, we don't want that. It's pretty dire, to be quite honest. Then we get I Don't Want to Cry No More. I don't mind this track. It's got a nice acoustic sound to it, which is pretty impressive, and I love the guitar solo. One of the better tracks on this album. Crazy Cat. I really don't know what this band were trying to do, put in brass on a power metal album. It just didn't work. Terrible track. Then we get Giants. I love this. This is probably the best track on the album. It sounds like proper Helloween. Really strong vocal from Michael. Absolute belter of a track. Then we get Windmill. It's an okay track, this one. It's listenable. Revolution now. Again, this is one of the better tracks on the album. Sounds a bit more metal than brassy nonsense. Then we get In the Night. Oh dear. Shocking. It's a horrible track. Don't like it. Then we get Music. Oh dear. Brass on it. Spoilt it. Step Out of Hell. Helloween doing pop. No, we don't want that either. I Believe. I don't mind the guitar work in this from Michael and Roland. Yeah, they're pretty good on the guitars, but that's about it. And then Longing. Well, it's alright, I suppose. I think this was a very disappointing album from Helloween. there's 3 tracks out of the whole album that are good, and the rest is just, oh dear. I very rarely put this on, and I put this on when I did this ranking, and I thought, you know, it might grow on me after all these years. No, I still got the same feelings about it. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 2 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 16, we have the 4th album. And this one was released in 1991, and it is Pink Bubbles Go Ape. It's the first album without Kai Henson, and the first with Roland Grappol. So we got Michael Kiske on vocals, Michael Wekath on guitar, Roland Grappol on guitar, Marcus Grosskopf on the bass, Indigo Spitzenberg on drums. We got keyboards by Pete Iverson and Phil Nichols. First track is Pink Bubbles Go Ape. It's one of them little intro ditties that Helloween are famous for. Bit of nonsense, don't know what this is all about. Then we get Kids of the Century. I love this track. It's a great vocal from Michael. The guitar between Michael and Roland is brilliant. They're having a lot of fun. Then we get Back on the Streets. This is Ingo's best drumming. This is classic Helloween drumming. It's a fantastic drum. The track's okay. Number 1, never been a big fan of this one. It's a bit lame, I think. Then we get Heavy Metal Hamsters. The opening riff sounds something a bit Deep Purple-y, which they are sort of into Deep Purple. And it's not the best track, but the opening riff's pretty cool. Going Home, this one isn't too bad. Got some nice guitar licks here from the boys, and Michael sounds great as ever. What a vocal this bloke is. Someone's Crying, well, it's not too bad. I can live with that one. Mankind, another one of the good tracks on here. Michael's vocal on this is amazing. I'm Doing Fine, Crazy Man. Great bass playing here from Marcus Grosskopf, and that's the only thing I can say about that. The Chance, mediocre track. Your Turn, I really like this one. It's one of the better albums. Got a nice acoustic number, and I like that track quite a lot. Yeah, this is one of them albums that's got some good tracks on it, but it has got some non-memorable tracks. And I think this is where the wobble really started for Helloween. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 5 out of 10. Okay, then coming in at number 14, we get to the 15th album now. It was released in 2015, and it's My God-Given Right. This has got Andy Derry on it, Michael Wekath, Sasha Gernster, Marcus Grosskopf, Daniel Lober, and additional musicians on here. We've got Matthias Ulmer doing keyboards, and Billy King and Olaf Senkenbale on additional backing vocals. First track on this one is Heroes. Good track, got some really nice riffs in it, like that one. Battles 1, Daniel's drumming's good. Got some half decent riffs in it. My God-Given Right, it's alright. Stay Crazy, Andy's vocal on this is brilliant. It's my favourite track on the album. Good track. Lost in America, again, it's a solid track. There's nothing wrong with it. Russian Roulette, love the guitar beginning at this one. Lovely effects, solid track. The Swing of the Fallen World, another of those great Daniel drumming rolls, really good. Like everyone else, it's one of my favourite tracks on the album. Andy's vocal is great on this. Some great guitar work as well. Creatures in Heaven, solid track, some nice licks, some nice riffs, nice interplay between Sasha and Michael. If God Loves Rock and Roll, very commercial sounding, but it's got a hook. It's catchy. I don't mind hooky, catchy metal tracks, and that one is good. Living on the Edge, solid track again. Claws, great drumming on this one, like that a lot. You Still of War, a very grungy sounding song. Good album, but not a memorable album. There's not any songs that really stand out. When I went to listen to this, I look at what's on it, and I think I can't really remember any of these. Yeah, I don't play this one either much. I don't know. There's just something about this I'm not very keen on. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 14, we go to the 10th album now. It was released in 2003, and it is called Rabbit Don't Come Easy. And it's the first Helloween album that featured Sasha Gernska, who replaced Roland Grappol. No drummer on this listed for this band. They hired Mark Cross, but only to manage to complete 2 tracks before he had to leave because he was ill. So they got in Mickey D, who was with Motorhead at the time, to play the rest of the songs on a session basis. So this is Andy Derry, Michael Wilcath, Sasha Gernska, Marcus Grosskopf, and the help of Mark Cross on a couple of tracks 7 and 11, and Mickey D did the rest. So the first track on this one is called Just a Little Sign. Classic Helloween. This is Mickey D doing the drums, fitted into this band very well. Great vocal from Andy, like that track. Open Your Life. This just shows what a versatile drummer Mickey D is. He can turn his hand to anything. You know, he's played with Motorhead, and now he's playing with the Scorpions. Different sort of music, but solid drummer. It's a good song as well. And the tune, another really good track. I love the guitar work on this between Sasha and Michael. Really nice interplay, playing off each other. It's a thing that Michael seems to do with all the guitarists that come through this band. Good track. Never Be a Star. It's a quirky track. It's one of the weaker tracks. It's quirky. Liar. Never been keen on this one. For the Sun and the World, my favourite track on here. Love that mystic start on this. Great vocal from Andy. Really good. Then we got Start Again, Iain. Stop Being Crazy. This is one of the tracks that Mark Cross drums on. It's quite mellow, but I do like the mellower tracks from Helloween. That's a pretty good track. Do You Feel Good? Really good track. The keyboard on this really is good, and I like the guitar solo on this one as well. Well, there's 2, they're all really good. Then Hell Was Made in Heaven. Love the riffs on this one. Great bass line from Marcus as ever. Terrific track. Back Against the Wall. Some really dark, dirty riffs on this one, and a crazy vocal from Andy on that. Listen to the Flies. Mark Cross on here. Love the double guitar work on this one. Fantastic. Nothing to Say. A little bit weird, a little bit disjointed. 1 minute it's rock, then it goes into a reggae. Not my sort of thing, really. A real good album. I actually played this one quite a bit. I don't mind this one. I mean, I had it on not very long ago, even after I'd even ranked them, because there were some good tracks on here. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of a 6.5. Okay then, coming in at number 13, we get on the 14th album now. Released in 2013, and it's Straight Out of Hell. So we've got Andy on the vocals, Michael and Sasha on the guitars, Marcus on the bass, and Daniel on the drums. First track on here is called Na Betty, or Na Better. A little fancy, little high-speed guitar at the beginning, absolutely belting. and the keyboards do sound good on this as well. Good track. World of War got some of that classic sounding Helloween drumming. Daniel's a really good drummer, and you've got the lovely licks and solos from Michael and Sasha. Good track. Live Now, another interesting track. Bit different, but it's solid. Far From the Stars, this is a bog standard speed metal track with some great drumming and guitar licks. Good stuff. Burning Sun, again, thunderous riffs, thunderous bass lines. Nothing wrong with that one. Waiting for the Thunder, a little bit commercial sounding, but it's solid. Then we got Hold Me in Your Arms, one of the slowest songs for them, and it's pretty good. And then we get a thing called Wanna Be God, which it says it's dedicated to Freddie Mercury. I don't know what Freddie would have got to this, but I'd say this is a metal version of We Will Rock You, really. I don't know what Freddie would have thought of that one. Straight Out of Hell, the title track. Love the twin guitars on here. More great play between Sasha and Michael. Then my favourite track on here, and excuse the French, is called Arsehole. But I love the bass line on this. It's very funny, and the riffs are terrific. And I think it's a great track. Years, more signature Helloween metal here. Solid stuff. Make Fire, Catch the Fly, solid track. Love that one as well. Church Breaks Down. Love the fast and furious drumming on this. Excellent track. This is a very solid album. Again, not a bad track on this one. Very consistent. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 12, we've got the 13th album, released in 2010, and it's Seven Sinners. On this we've got Andy on the vocals, Michael on the guitars, along with Sasha and Marcus and Daniel on bass and drums. First track on this one, Where the Sinners Go. Daniel's drumming on this is terrific. And you've got this very sinister, deep and dark vocal from Andy. Really good. Are You Metal? Love this. The keyboard sounding is great. That thumping drum from Daniel gets your feet going. Then we get Who Is Mr. Madman? This is, to me, it's a very slowed down version of Perfect Gentleman. And I think that's why I like this song. It's a little bit different, and it's my favourite song on the album. Raise the Noise. What I like about Helloween, there are no lengthy intros. Straight in, bang. Michael and Sasha doing the business. It's a good track. World of Fantasy, another very quirky track. It's got a nice beat to it. Long Live the King, fast and frantic stuff, great track. The Smile of the Sun. A little bit of piano to start this, very different. It's a really good track. You Stupid Mankind. Bang, straight in, drums, riffs. Solid. If a Mountain Could Talk. Another of those little quirky tracks with a quirky keyboard line. Great riffs from the boys, like that one a lot. The Sage, the Fool, the Sinner. Marcus, his bass line drives the song along, and you've got Sasha and Michael just intertwining round it. My Sacrifice, one of the least favourite tracks on it. I think it's a little bit cheesy. Not Yet Today, great vocal from Andy. I love the echo that he gets on this. It's a very short track and basically goes into the next track, and it's Far in the Future, which is the last track. The guitar from Michael and Sasha is incredible. Just them two off on one. It's a great track. Again, a really good album. I can't fault this. If you love your fast and furious metal, you've got lots of this on there. You've got some nice gentle metal tracks as well. A good all-round album. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. Time for some coffee. And an interesting coffee. This is Jaffa Cake flavoured coffee. It's really nice. Okay, coming in at number 11. We'll go way back to 1985 now. And that debut EP called Helloween. And on here we've got Kai Hansen, Michael Wyckoff and Marcus Grosskopf and Ingo Switchenberg. First track on this EP is called Starlight. I love this. Starts with the radio, then you get Happy Happy Halloween, dee, 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 and then you get goes into some belching screams, booming guitar sound. Great stuff. The only thing I'm not keen on, and I'll be quite honest, I don't like Kai Hansen singing. But I love everything else about it. I mean, Kai's a great guitarist, but his singing does let him down. He's not a bad singer, but I think he's the weaker singer of the three that have sang with Helloween. Murderer. These early tracks have got so much energy on this. Again, Kai's vocals a little bit weak, but it's just the interplay between Kai and Michael that blows you away. Absolutely brilliant. Warrior, love all the guitar effects on here. Some great work here from Kai. Victim of Fate, my second favourite track on here. What I like about this one is that aggressive metal sound. Cry for Freedom, solid track again. Little bit gentle to start and then boom, you get your ears blasting away. And that's your EP. A very raw but good EP. As I said, I'm not a great lover of Kai Hansen's vocals, but the songs without a doubt are brilliant. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay, then coming in at number 10, we have the 12th album, released in 2007, and it's Gambling with the Devil. On here we have got Andy on the vocals, Michael and Sasha on guitars, Marcus on bass, Daniel on the drums. Guest people on here, we have Biff Byford doing some spoken words on Crack the Riddle, and keyboards again by Matthias Ulmer. So the first track is this intro called Crack the Riddle. Really weird and wonderful intro, and you've got Biff doing some really nice little cameo role on this in his little vocal bit, spoken words. It's good because it goes straight into another great track called Kill It. This is a great track. Now Andy's got a deeper voice than Michael, but on this occasion Andy really hits the roof. Great solid track. Like that a lot. Then we get the Saints, solid track. Danny's drumming is brilliant on that. Great stuff. As Long as I Fall, solid track. It's one of them slower Helloween tracks, and I think they really do a good job on them. I like all their sort of slower tracks. Paint a New World, it's okay, it's a bit generic, it's nothing special. Final Fortune, some hooks on here are really good. It's very radio friendly, and I don't mind that because it really is quite a catchy tune. Then we get my favourite track off this one, The Bells of the Seven Hells. Andy hits the high notes again and he holds them. This is a bit of a, it's only 5 minutes, but it's a very epic sort of track. Got lots of good riffs in it, and it is my favourite track on the album. Then we get Fallen to Pieces. Oh, this one's a bit cheesy. I'm not keen on that one. Then we get IME. I love this. The guitar work here from Sasha and Michael. Their playoff on this is brilliant. Then Can Do It. Great drumming from Danny, because he stopped and started on this with such precisionness, and he doesn't miss a beat. Absolutely brilliant. Dreambound. This has got some of my favourite interplay between Michael and Sasha. I just imagine them two. I don't know if they record it together. They must do, because you wouldn't get this sort of harmony between them. It's a great little piece in that. Then the last track, Heaven Tells No Lies. Great vocal from Andy. Solid track. This is certainly one of my favourite albums of the 21st century from the band. It's going back to their origins as well. It's just good old-fashioned power metal. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8.2. Okay, then coming in at number 9. Go to 1996. And the 7th album, At the Time of the Oath. This is the first album following the death of Ingo, who was fired after Chameleon and later sadly commit suicide. And this album is dedicated to him in his memory. So we have got Andy on here, Michael, Roland Grappol's on here, Marcus Groskopf, and the drummer is a track called Uli Kirsch. First track on here is We Burn. Love the start to this. One of my favourite tracks. It's one of the opening tracks on one of the live albums. It's a great track. Really like that one. Still Tormentor. Again, I love this track. Great little riffs in this. Absolutely brilliant stuff between Michael and Roland on that one. Wake Up the Mountains. Again, you got some nice interplay here between Roland and Michael. Great stuff. Power, one of the weaker tracks on the album. Never been a fan of that one. Forever and One of the most popular ballads I think they ever did. It's such a good track. Andy writes some really good ballads and I just like it. Before the War, love the guitar work on it. In the middle of it's just pure classic Helloween. Then 1,000,000 to 1. Now, we got some electronic bassy sound on this, and it actually worked on this track, and I do like the guitar solo on it. Anything Mama Don't Like, it's okay, it's nothing special. Kings Will Be Kings, solid track. Love the riffs in that one. Then we get my favourite album track on this album, Mission Motherland, one of these little epics. I love the guitar work in this. It is just brilliant. The bass line from Marcus is just unbelievable. It's a great track. If I Knew, it's an okay track, but what makes it good is the solo in it. Then we get the title track, The Time of Oath. My second favourite track on this album. It's got a gothic feel to it, and it's just a great track. Another great album. Although it's got a couple of weak tracks on it, it's still a great album and one that I listen to quite a lot. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay, coming in at number 8, we have the debut album released in 1985, Walls of Jericho. This was the only album that Kai actually did lead vocals on. And then he just for the next couple of albums he was just a guitar. So we got Kai Hansen, Michael Wackath, Marcus Groskopf, we've got Indigo Switzenberg. Additional musicians is James Hardway on the Emulator 2. We got a little track called The Walls of Jericho. Basically this is London Bridge is falling down, done in a very pompous way with drums. It's alright. Ride the Sky. I love this track. It's great guitar work from Kai. I've heard Michael Kiske sing this, and he does sing it a lot better, and it's a strong track. I remember they did this when I first saw them, and it's brilliant live. Reptile. Love Marcus's bass on this. Great song. It's not a bad vocal from Kai on this one. I like that one. Guardians, classic track. Love the interplay between Kai and Michael on this. It's got them lovely rich guitar sounds. Phantoms of Death, a stonker. Absolutely stonker. Ingo's drumming is brilliant on this. Some of his best drumming, I think, on this track. Metal Invaders. Love the rawness of this, and you've got that great speed guitar, the booming bass, the thumping drums. Gorgar. I don't like that one. Heavy Metal is the Law, great song, but I think again it's one of the vocal from Kai is okay, but having heard Michael sing it, it sounds a lot better. Then we get my favourite track, and it's the last track, How Many Tears. It's a great track. Love the guitar work on this. But again, it's one of them songs I think Michael Keith sang a lot better. But this is a great song. Great debut. Really is a great album. I just think the singing... I'm glad Kai decided to get a singer in. I really did. I don't know if it was his idea. But I think if they hadn't, I don't think they'd have been as big as they were. But he does a good job. I can't deny that. But it's his guitar work that's absolutely amazing on this album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.6. Okay, then coming in at number 7. We've got the 6th album released in 1994. And it's Master of the Rings. And it's the first album that featured Andy Derry and Yuli Kushk. So it's Andy on vocals, Michael on guitar, Roland on guitar, and he does sing on one of these songs, Marcus Groskopf and Uli Kirsch. First thing is called Irritation. And it's Welker tuned 112 in C. A little interpretation by Michael. It's quite nice. Soul Survivor, love this track, always have. First time I heard it, I thought, wow, what a great singing from this new singer. Excellent track. Where the Rain Grows, a really good track. Love the guitar work here. Really good. Then we get a track called Why. The start of this is where the drumming from Yuli is brilliant. It sounds like he's playing in another room, and they've moved the drum kit into the main room. It's really interesting how that comes in. There's some great licks on this. Then we get Mr. Ego. I love this. It's got keyboard in it, but it's brilliant. It's the riffs that really get you hooked. Strong track, my favourite one. Perfect Gentleman. Great track. So quirky. Love the whistling in this. Great vocal from Andy. The Game Is On. One of the tracks that I'm not keen on. It just didn't work for me. Secret Alibi is a good track though. Great drumming. Solid as you like. Take Me Home. Again, you got Yuli's great drum start on this. Great rock track. In the Middle of a Heartbeat. One of the nicest ballads. One of the nicest songs Andy Derry has wrote. I think it's brilliant. Love that song. Still We Go. The start of it's got sort of that musical wind-up thing. Sort of a musical wind-up things. It's a bit eerie. Lots of coughing and scream, and then boom does it come in. Great track. Great way to end the album. A good start for Andy, I think, on the vocals. A much return welcome to form after the last previous albums, and I do like this album, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.8. Okay, then coming in at number 6, we go to the 8th album now, released in 1998, Better Than Raw. So on this one we've got Andy, Michael, Roland, Marcus and Yuli. Guest musicians on this one, Jorg Eldenbrock on keyboards, Tommy Hansen on keyboards, Jutta Wenhold, Ralph Morser and Christina Hannay on backing vocals. Now this is an interesting track. It's one of their little intros, and it's called Deliberately Limited Preliminary Prelude Period in Z. Z. One of them great little intros that Helloween have done. I like it. Then we got Push. God, this is heavy. Absolute one of the heaviest tracks they've ever done. Got some great riffs, great riffs and licks. The drumming on it is awesome. Great stuff. Falling Higher, another track I really like. Andy's vocal on this track is awesome. Then we get my favourite track on here, Hey Lord. Very, very quirky. I love their quirky tracks. The guitar solo in this is fantastic. Don't Spit on My Mind. Great riffs here, solid stuff. Revolution. More great riffs here. Again, that interplay between Michael and Roland is superb. Absolutely brilliant track. Time. Marcus, that bass line. Eerie. And then you put that eerie vocal of Andy on it, and it's even better. I Can, love this track. I love the way it starts. You got the drums come in, the bass, then the guitars, and away we go. Great song. Handful of Pain, solid track. There's so many good tracks on this album. Levitate, Denomium. It's not a bad track, but one of the things I like about this is the guitar words, but it's the drums. They sound a little bit hollow on this. I think a more deeper song, and it'd have been an even better song. Midnight Sun. Love the guitar work between Roland and Michael. Great guitar licks. Solid album. But what does let it down sometimes is some of the drumming on it's a little bit tinny and poppy. But the vocals are really brilliant, and Andy has consolidated himself in the band. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. Coming in number 5 then, we've got the 9th album from 2000, The Dark Ride. This album style was a little bit different from Better Than Raw, and it had a much darker and drop tone guitars and gruffier vocals. This was the last lineup to feature the Master of the Rings era. So this was the last album you would have Roland and Yuli on. So it's Andy, Michael, Roland, Marcus and Yuli. Beyond the Portal, another great intro that goes straight into Mr. Torture. Again, a lovely track. Great bass line. Nice keyboard on that. Great track. Then we get All Over the Nations. It's okay. It's not my favourite track on the album. I wouldn't say it was bad. It's just not what. I just don't get on with that one. Then we get Escalation 666. This is a great track. It's really heavy and dark, and I love Marcus's bass line on this. Mirror Mirror, the double guitar sound on here for Michael and Roland. Really, it's just classic twin guitar riffing. Then we get the wonderful If I Could Fly. This, I think, is one of probably my second favourite ballad from Helloween. Great vocal from Andy. It is fantastic, and I've got it on a lot of compilation, and he does a version with this with Candice Night. Absolutely brilliant, their version. Salvation. This starts off with some great guitar and drum roll. Brilliant track. The Departed, Sun Is Going Down. This is my favourite rock track heavy track on here. I love the echo on the guitars at the beginning. Brilliant. I Live For Your Pain. Another of those classic Marcus bass lines that sort of drives the song along. We Damn the Night. More great riffs. This album is again full of great riffs. Gruffly vocal from Andy. Terrific. Immortal, one of the melodic tracks on here, but it's very solid. Then we get The Dark Ride. Love the beginning of this. You got Andy coming in, that lyric speaking, eeriness, classic work from Michael. Great track. Good way to end the album. A very good album. It's a little bit different from the previous album, but it's got a heavier sound, and I love listening to this album. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.2. Okay, then number 4. 11th album, released in 2005. Keeper of the Seven Keys, The Legacy. It's the first album with Daniel Lobey on it, and it's a continuation of their Keeper series. So we got Andy, Michael, Sasha, Marcus, Danny. Guest musicians on here are Friedel Amon on keyboards, backing vocals from Oliver Hartman and Olaf Senkabel, and Candice Knight, his guest vocal on Light of the Universe. Opens up with one of my favourite tracks. It's the epic The King for 1,000 Years. Oh, what a track. The dramatic start and the, it's telling the story of mythical legends. It's so hard and powerful, and then it goes into that gentle bit about halfway through, and then it just booms back with monster riffs. An amazing track, absolutely amazing. Then we get The Invisible Man. Great bass line here from Marcus, strong riffs as well, great track. Born on Judgment Day, one of the weaker tracks on here. We'll talk about that towards the end. Pleasure Dome, solid track. Mrs. God, what a track. I love the guitar touches on this, and I love that quirky vocal from Andy. Great track. Silent Rain, the drums are brilliant on this. Great stuff. Then we get Occasional Avenue, like the start of this. It's got that keeper feel to it, and it's a great vocal from Andy. Mandy come from. Then we get Light of the Universe. A great duo here with Mrs. Blackmore. I think Candice is a great singer. It's a great song. Andy and Candice do a great job on that one. Great little track. Do You Know What You're Fighting For? I love the rhythm riff on this. And then you get this guitar solo on the top. I'm not quite sure who does the rhythm and lead on this, because they're both great guitarists. Come Alive, a funny start, and then the riffs again. It's terrific. Great little track. The Shade in the Shadow. Love the Hammond organ start on this. I love anything that has a bit of Hammond on it. Great track. Get It Up. Love Daniel drumming at the solid. He came on board with quite an intense album and solid drumming on that. My Life for One More Day. It's just one of those tracks you got Michael and Sasha just playing away. I like that track. I know a lot of people have this low. Ones I've seen have got this low in their rankings, but because they say it's too long. Okay, it's got quite a lot of tracks on it, but I think it's a very underrated album. I like this album a lot, and I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 9.4, even though there's a couple of tracks that shouldn't be on this album. But when you've got a track like The King of 1,000 Years, it's just amazing. Okay, then, coming in at number 3, we've got the self-titled 16th album, released in 2021, and it's the first release of the Pumpkins United, which brought ex-members back into the fold. So on here we've got Michael Keys, Andy Derry, Kai Hansen, Michael Wickath, Sasha Gernstone, Marcus Groskopf, Daniel Lobey, Kai Hansen. Got Matthias Uma coming to do some keyboards. So Jans Jonsson, Tim Hansen's on here doing a guitar solo on Skyfall. And Dennis Ward plays bass on Robert King, and Xavier Russell is the narrator. First track on here, Out of Glory, a typical Helloween start. This is absolutely brilliant. I'd love to come to love this so much. Fear of the Fallen. It's amazing what over time has done. I sort of, when this first came out, I weren't too keen on it, but I think it's great now. Absolutely brilliant track. Best of Time, solid track, nothing wrong with this one. Mass Pollution. The riffs on this, you've got three great guitarists having an absolute ball. Brilliant stuff. Then we got Angels. The bass line for Marcos is absolutely brilliant. Then the rest of the band come in rough. Rise Without Chains, more great bass playing. Instructable. When I first reviewed this, I didn't like it, but boy do I like it. Robot King, I love this. The vocals are brilliant. Having the two of them on it, it's absolutely brilliant. I love it. Great track. Cyanide, love the opening of this. You got the dirt, you got this great rhythm riff, and then you got Kai coming on top with a great solo. Brilliant stuff. Down in the Dumps, great vocals on this. Michael still singing as strong as ever. Great stuff. Orbit, awesome. And then we get the fantastic Skyfall. It still remains one of my favourite tracks. First time I heard it, it blew me away. The interplay between the three, between Sasha, Michael and Kai, is brilliant. The vocals split between Andy and Michael are brilliant. It's one of my favourite songs by the band. Absolutely brilliant song. Golden Times. This is a track that really has grown on me since it first came out, and I love this. Save My Hide. Great track. Pumpkins United. It's okay, but what makes this is the guitar work between Kai, Michael and Sasha. Brilliant. We Are Real. I like this a little bit more than I did before. Okay. When this first came out and I reviewed it, I mean I watched the review as well, and I was sort of on the fence a little bit with that review, but it's been about a year since it came out, and in that year I've played this a lot, and I think it's a fantastic album, and I hope we get another album from this lineup because I think this is a brilliant album. Absolutely superb, and I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 9.5. Okay, we got to the top two. I'm sure you know which two it is. What order have I put it in? Well, you'll find out now. So coming in at number 2, we have the third album released in 1988, and it is Keeper of the Sea, 7 Keys, Part 2. Michael Keys, Kai Hansen, Michael Rakath, Marcus Grovekopf and Ingo Stritzenberg. First track, of course, is Invitation. I love this intro to this. Really goes nice into the next track, which is Eagle for Fly Free. I love this. I like how it starts a normal rock track and then boom we go. Hard, fast, heavy. You Always Walk Alone, classic song. Love the guitar solo here from Kai. This the bass at the beginning, the whining guitar solo, then different beats, and then we go Fast and Furious Helloween. Great track. Rise and Fall. Love this song. I like the how, hot bubble. Once the singer sang for bullshit. Can't get any worse than that. Brilliant. I love that track. Then we get a classic, Dr. Stein. Love that track. My favourite on the album. I've always loved. I love that keyboard in it. It's really good. And then the ending, it sounds like a day in a life, the Beatles. Great track. We Got the Right. Marcus, classic bass line. Great vocal from Michael. March of Time. Kai Hansen. All over this one. Brilliant. I Want Out, another classic. Great track, great vocal from Michael. Love the solo on that. Keeper of the Seven Keys, brilliant, classic, another great track from the band. Some great guitar work here between Michael and Kai. Save us. Michael Kisk's vocal on this is amazing. How he hits them high notes. Absolute belter track to end the album. An absolute classic album. Love every track on here from top to bottom. It's got some great sounds. I play this a lot. I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.7. So, if you haven't guessed, number 1 is the second album, released in 1987, and it is Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1, and it's the first appearance of Michael Kiske on vocals, and it is considered the album that created the genre of European style power metal. So it's Michael Kiske on vocals, Kai and Michael on the guitars, Marcus on the bass, and Ingo on the drums. First we get that Initiation, love that, and then we get I'm Alive. Now this is the first ever track that I have properly heard by Helloween. My mate got this album. He said, "You've got to listen to this." So went round, as you do in them days, up to his. He was still living with his mum at that time, so we went to his bedroom, plonked this on, and I fell in love with it. The brilliant guitar solo on this absolutely blew me away, and I was hooked. Then we get A Little Time. These are all classic songs now. Great track. I love all the clocks going off just like in Time from Pink Floyd. Absolutely brilliant. Twilight of the Gods. I love Ingo's drumming on this. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Great track. Then we get probably my favourite ballad by this band, A Tale That Wasn't Right. Michael's vocals in this are terrific, and then when he sings it on that live Pumpkins United album, he can still sing it as good as he did in 87. That bloke's vocals haven't changed. I love that track. Great. Then we get Future World. Yep, I remember singing this at the gig. He got the and everyone knew the words. It's great. Brilliant track Future World is. And then we get the epic and the brilliant Helloween. The song that started off the Wacken gig. I love the video of this. I just love this track. In its all 13 minutes of it, it's just a brilliant track. And by the time I got down this far down the album, I knew I was going to like this band, and this is brilliant. And then we get Follow the Sign, one of the little ditties to end the album, which was pretty cool. As I said, this was the album that really got me into speed metal. Although I'd heard bits and walls of the Walls of Jericho in the EP, I hadn't bought it, but this is the first thing I ever bought by Helloween, and I love it. I still love playing it today, and I play it so much. It's a pretty awesome album. I've got very fondness of this album. It's one of my favourite albums from the 80s, so it's a big 10 from me today on this one, because if it wasn't for listening to this, I wouldn't be listening to some of the bands I listen to today. So folks, that's all for today. Been a real long one, but tomorrow we have got a really interesting battle of the debuts. It's two bands that feature people that have all worked with notable acts. They all got together to make a band, and we're talking about Blue Murder, led by John Sykes, and Badlands, led by J.E. Lee. And we'll be having a look at their debut albums. Also tomorrow is the last ever album artworks, and it's the same as we started with Stinker album covers, and tomorrow it is Stinkers 6, No Holds Barred. We have gone for bad covers, bad titles, and of course it was put together by myself and Mastermind Dave. So that's for tomorrow, and also tomorrow is live ranking day. The weather's got a little bit better out there, so the sun's trying to come out. So have a great day everyone, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.